Mahesh Pandra.
Mr. Speaker, the images from Mount Eden Prison, the Mount Eden Corrections Facility, I stand corrected, were indeed shocking. It was scary to the extent that people had their TVs switched on again to see if it was for real. Now, Mr. Speaker, as a former senior corrections officer, I'm perhaps in the rare position of speaking with some expertise that the minister clearly does not have. I started at the old Mount Eden prison building, which was called the real jail in the country. That prison, Mr. Speaker, was from the colonial era, and that reminded me, because of its uncanny similarity with the old Mumbai Central Jail on Arthur Road. So, Mr. Speaker, but this Mount Eden prison, when managed by Corrections Department, worked. The systems worked. All the systems were very old, but the system and the reintegration initiatives taken there did work. The security was to the point that it was faultless. We didn't have any of these things. There were hardly any cameras in those days. And the prisoners were observed and monitored by prison officers themselves, and not by cameras, and then those cameras that have obviously failed, except for the prisoners' cameras, which have really worked, as is evident from the Facebook and the YouTube videos. So, Mr. Speaker, prisoners have been moved from various prisons like Rimutaka and certain other prisons which have been closed to accommodate those prisoners into the $400 million very corrections facilities. Well, now, that is another Serco facility that we do not have currently videos for, but it would be surprising if fight clubs, moonshining, and drug dealings are not present there. This is consistent with other Serco facilities from here to the United Kingdom. Now, given the housing issues in Auckland, how many houses could have been accommodated? It represents a lost opportunity from not better using the prisons we have. Having urban prisons also means that we cannot jam cell phones, which we could in rural areas. And now cell phones are being used for illegal activities in prisons that we have seen in recent years. Well, as the Telegraph noted recently, Mr. Speaker, the big problem for companies like Serco is to deliver a level of service at a fixed price for a number of years. If the costs rise faster than anticipated, then that profit can be wiped out very quickly, and the company can then find itself locked into a loss-making contract for years. Now, to circumvent that, Mr. Speaker, these commercial companies or the corporates hire a less number of staff so that they don't have to spend much on staffing, and most of the expense that is incurred by any prison system is mainly on staffing. So these companies compromise on staff safety, they compromise on prisoner safety, and they do compromise on the rehabilitation programs. So this perhaps explains why staffing was thin on the ground, and it is rich of the minister to write to the defense of a private company who makes money by doing things cheaper and will have to do it cheaper, increasingly cheaper as each year goes by. Now, Mr. Speaker, corrections is a core responsibility for any government. So this government has actually been shirking their own responsibility and giving it away to Serco for profits. Now, Serco is all for profits and not for reintegration or safety of the prisoners and staff. They do not want overseas-owned publicly listed corporates to make huge margins off their taxes while Kiwis get laid off in the regions to pay for it. New Zealand First says Serco's prison contract should be terminated on the basis of gross non-performance. It is simply unacceptable for prisoners to have been able to start and run a fight club at Mount Eden Corrections Facility, and it is even more unacceptable for that footage to be actually posted on social media. The Minister of Corrections has to be accountable for this latest incident. We have said it before, he needs to shape up or ship out. What clause, Mr. Speaker, of the Serco contract is preventing the minister from terminating this contract permanently? This is sadly what happens when prisons are outsourced to private operators. Profits are always put before prisoner and staff safety. Now, Serco-run prisons do not have the right staffing levels. The minister should put all the corrections facilities back into state hands, properly resource them, and give staff the tools to do their job. That's what a real minister would be doing instead of being the minister for Serco. Time and again, we have asked the minister if he has the confidence in the functioning of Serco, and time and again, he has said yes. The minister has gone to the extent of singing Serco's praises regarding Mount Eden Corrections Facility, and I quote him, "It is the top prison performer on the prison performance table, which measures core security, internal procedures, and rehabilitation," unquote. He has continued that line even today. We must ask why, Mr. Speaker, why he continues to stick like glue to Serco despite so many stuff-ups. In this latest incident, if this incident is anything to go by, the top prison performer can only be counted in third world terms by the quality of its fight club, the quality of its illegal alcohol, and the quantity of its drug dealings. Mr. Speaker, this minister needs to either take up a job with Serco's PR department or initiate an independent, transparent, and thorough investigation by the Law and Order Select Committee. Thank you.